Welcome to the Off the Ball Racing Preview Show from Punchestown. We're live from the Mezz Bar for the William Hill Champion Chase Day at Punchestown with thanks to William Hill. What a day, what a week we have in store in Kildare and Prospect. 3.5 million in prize money, 40 races, 12 grade ones, an estimated 100,000 people through the turnstiles this week, an exciting Jockeys Championship, a great amphitheatre, a brilliant feature today. Now, you might notice the weather is a bit dodgy at the moment, but we're hoping it's going to clear up. We have great guests today. Johnny Ward, the other half of the racing pod, is with us, and two Cheltenham Gold Cup winning jockeys, Conor Dwyer and Brian Cooper. Johnny, Conor, Brian, great to see you all. Can't wait for this week. Looking forward to today.
Yeah, you can start, Conor, sure.
Thanks, Johnny.
Start with the best rider among us, maybe.
No. Yeah, a while ago. So listen, looking forward to the week. Fabulous week. As you say, hopefully the weather holds up. Some super racing. Look forward to it. The ground is in unbelievable condition. Looks amazing. And hopefully a good week.
You know what this is all about, going for a jockey's title here, Brian. You've got Jack and you've got Paul Townend. There's only, 7 between them. This is going to be a really exciting battle between now and Saturday.
Yeah, it's great watching. They've gone hammer and tongs all winter long, and it's good for the sport. It's good that there's two top class riders fighting it out, and I don't think Paul will have it easy. Jack's not going to not ride a winner this week, and Paul's going to have to ride a lot of winners, and it's exciting. But I think Jack, he's had a lot of injuries, and if he does win it, he truly deserves it.
What's it like to ride around here, guys? It seems to me a very enjoyable track. It's galloping. There's been some great races here. What was your most enjoyable moment, Conor, riding around Punchestown of all the races you rode here?
Hard to call, John. First of all, it's a fabulous track to ride around. Very fair. The best horse generally wins. There's no excuses, no hiding places. 4 or 5 fences down the back. Super chase track. So, as I say, it's a fabulous place to ride. As regards me, I don't know, really, it's very hard to say. I actually won a Latouche here in 2003 on Bootles and Follows for Enda Bulger, and being honest with you, I probably got as big a kick out of that as I did.
Over the banks, yeah.
Over the banks as I did with anything.
Jack Kindy said that lately about, who did he ride? He said he got over the banks.
Cocoa Beach.
He said.
Cocoa Beach,
He said that I nearly have to get as much of a buzz out of that. Like, did you find that when you were riding?
I only rode in the Latouche once, and I'll never forget it. I get to the races a bit late and didn't have time to walk the track. So I knew the horse I was riding, I knew I was dropping in there, so I hunted away.
Followed him around.
And I headed Big Shoe at the back of the last year and nearly won, and I was only beaten half a length. And I remember I went into the weigh-in after, so it would have taken you to go on and land on and win at Latouche without walking the track or anything. But it was some crack. Like when you get a good spin like that, it's a great thrill.
It's a bit of a roller coaster ride when you're Ruby's double. I mean, how did you navigate that as a jockey, for example?
Well, I was lucky enough because most of the time I rode was for Enda, so you just sat there and let the horse knew more than I did about them, so you just found your spot, picked it and let the horse at it. But as I said, to ride for Enda around it a few times was great fun.
The ground here is yielding now, a bit of rain, Johnny, this morning. Obviously, we can see it around us, but it's been pretty much good ground the last week or so. So it'll get into the ground a bit, but it's not going to turn it heavy, for example, for the racegoers and listeners out there who are tuning in and wondering, am I going to change my thoughts now, given on the ground?
Yeah, it's definitely the best ground pretty much that we've had jumps wise for a long time, really, for months and months, and the Grand National in Fairyhouse was on really testing ground. We've had a desperately needed week, 10 days of dry weather, and this rain actually, I think Conor was talking to Frank Berry before racing, this rain is going to help. It's just the kind of soft side of good. Beautiful spring ground as it should be. And just in relation to Punchestown, JD, Punchestown nowadays is quite different to the old Punchestown, because Punchestown is where the winners from Cheltenham come now, because we have 2/3 of the winners at Cheltenham and they're nearly all here, and a lot of the also-rans are here as well. So if you liked what you saw at Cheltenham, you're going to see the vast majority of them here, and the likes of Sergino hopefully later in the week as well.
We've got a great feature race, the William Hill Champion Chase today. Strong Platinum, you rode him in 1995 to win this race. You know what it's like. What type of horse is required to win this race, and how do you play out the tactics in your head for a 2-mile race at good speed?
Yeah, again, it depends on what your horse needs to do, but in general, like a Strong Platinum, the good 2-mile chasers, as Ruby always says, keep it simple, jump them out handy. It's not a track you're going to come too far behind on, especially, as I said, if you're chasing a decent 2-mile chaser that's jumping so well. A lot of jumping here, a lot comes down to the jumping, but back in when I was riding, I love to pop them out good and handy and get a nice handy slot and keep it simple.
Let's go through it now. Let's go through the big one, the William Hill Champion Chase. We'll go through the whole card here today at Punchestown, 8 races, and then we'll obviously get some tales from the weigh room and from the course from Conor and Brian Cooper a little bit later on with Johnny as well. So this is the 525, the William Hill Champion Chase, 2 miles, half a furlong, 9 runners, Banbridge, Captain Guinness, Gentleman de Me, St. Sam, Dino Blue, or Dino Blue, whatever you want to call it, the favourites, Field Door, Ash Tree Meadow, and Dysart Dynamo, and Mascada. So Brian Cooper, Dino Blue is being backed heavily, into 5-4 with William Hill today. This horse was second at Cheltenham over a longer distance, back in trip now to 2 miles. We really improved the mare this season, and would you say that she's the one to beat?
I think so, yeah. She's a real solid jumper. She jumps very quick. And I don't know if she got the trip in the mare's chase in Cheltenham. Stepping back to 2 mile here, I'd say Mark will ride a good positive race and let her use her jump. And if I had to pick one to ride in a race, it'd definitely be her. She's solid. She won a Grade 1 in Leopardstown already, and there's question marks over a couple of the others. Banbridge ground, he won't like that rain. The same with Gentleman to Me, so she's a solid favourite.
Captain Guinness, everything fell right for him at Cheltenham with the El Fabiolo not performing in terms of his jumping, and then Edward Stone fell. Is it going to be a bit more difficult today than Conor for Captain Guinness, given the opposition and what happened at Cheltenham?
I think it is, but do you know something? Like looking at the race, it's winnable for him too. He deserved his Grade 1 in Cheltenham. No other horses has been as bridesmaid as many times as him. It could be set up from St. Sam will go quick, as Brian said. Dino Blue will be very handy. It'll be a very quick race, and I'd say something to stay at the end will I think be the one to be on. The only little doubt maybe Dino Blue is she'd a very, very hard race over a trip, a little bit, as Brian said, maybe a little far for her in Cheltenham. She's a mare, at short odds she wouldn't be for me for backing. I'm not saying she won't win, but I definitely wouldn't be backing.
Don't know if you're a Baker Street fan, Johnny. The saxophone is playing behind us, so who's going to get a tune out of the horse today?
Oh, look at that. Your work is done here, JD. I'm with Conor in this. I think she's too short, and I've never been a massive fan of her in general. I think her rating kind of puts her where she is, and she doesn't have the highest rating in this field, off the best of my knowledge. Banbridge, Brian has gone on about the ground there, but as long as it doesn't get really, really bad, that's beautiful ground for Banbridge. It really, just what Brian said as well, he doesn't want much more rain, but he will be staying on. And just listen to Willie in the Racing Post. It sounds like they're going to go about 50 miles an hour in this race. So it's a hell of a spectacle. I remember the days of Moscow Fire and Azerti up, and the lads have ridden good horses. 2 mile chasing for me is the best national hunt race there is.
One of the best rides I ever saw was Mansoni. Davy Russell rode in this race, and
Conor used to ride him better though,
Yeah. He came from the clouds to win. It is a real tactical affair, isn't it? You have to get your fractions right in your head. Sometimes you can go off too fast. Sometimes you can come too late.
Yeah, it suits a good jumper as well. Like if you're at a good jumper, it's a massive advantage, especially over 2 mile. You've the fences down the back there, and if you get lengths out of them, I find the third last is a very important fence as well. If you miss that, you kind of run on the downslope a bit. But if you get a flyer, you can freewheel in off the bend and get a breather and let them roll. But it is definitely suits a front runner if you're on a good jumper.
So selection.
But I suppose conversely, you're taking on so many front runners that.
Yeah.
And one thing about the day for punters is we've 3 Grade 1s with each way betting in all of the races. I think a lot of punters love that. They like taking on favourites. It's way better having 8 runners than 7. We've 9 runners in this, and that's actually puts it ahead of Cheltenham. On day 2 at Cheltenham, we 3 Grade 1s with less than 8 runners. So it's fantastic for punters.
So Dino Blue with the sponsors William Hill 5-4, Banbridge 11-2, Captain Guinness 11-2, Gentleman to Me 11-2, Dysart Dynamo Money 14-1, Field Door 18-1, St. Sam 28-1, and then we're looking at Ash Tree Meadow 33s and Mascada 66. I like St. Sam. I just, as a horse that I think he went off too quick. He was too keen at Ferry House last time. He should have won the Novice Chase potentially here 2 years ago. I think at 28-1 he might be €1 each way bet. If it had not rained, I'd be all over Banbridge, giving you 1 over 2 miles. Maybe you're right. Maybe the rain is not enough to get into the ground. But to me, it's a race not to have a bet in. It's a race to sit out. But you're going to go for Banbridge.
Cracking each way bet 11-2.
And Conor?
Yeah, I'm with Johnny. I think Banbridge, or maybe Gentleman to Me is not out either.
Okay.
It's just because, as I said, they're a bit of value. You need to look for a bit of value.
And Brian Dino Blue in the
I'm
big one.
sticking with Dino Blue, yeah.
Okay, let's go through the rest of them. Over the banks, we talked about the banks there. The 2:30, the Kildare Hunt Club cross-country race for the Ladies Perpetual Cup. 3 miles, half a furlong, 16 runners. Ooh, This is a difficult one to work out. You've got Philip Rothwell with a horse there.
Yeah, Willie Mullins didn't actually run for Willie. This is a race that I wouldn't be getting heavily involved in. Sam Curling's horse, JD, if I can find here. Sam's horse actually hasn't had great luck in the race in the past. But I think Sam's an outstanding trainer. It's going to be a big ride as well for Tony Quayle.
This is the Northerner,
the North. The last time I looked, this
a lot of money for it.
Sixes, yeah. And just that run the last year at Quakerstown behind the excellent winged leader will have this horse right, and I feel Sam will have done plenty of schooling.
What do you think about this? This looks very difficult to work out. Can you work it out?
No, absolutely not. I think Philip Rothwell's horse is the best horse in the race.
Okay.
But again, it's how he jumps the banks. The Northerner, I think, won a bank race in Linkstown for Sam Curling, so he has the experience. Look, it's not a race to be jumping into for the first race to get you going.
Brian?
I thought John the Spark, baby, for Ian Donoghue. Solid trainer. He's getting a lot of winners.
Some form.
Yeah, his form is a rock solid there. I just flicking through this morning, seen a bit of money for it there at each way money, and I just thought, I think I saw a video of it jumping the banks here the other day and it looked real natural.
Okay.
So maybe at a bit of value there, yeah, John the Spark.
John the Spark, which is probably what I'll be like about 10 o'clock this evening. So John the Spark has won 3 points, 11 to 1, John the Spark. I'm going to go for Commander of 10, an in and out performer, but he's actually owned by Noel Feely. Is Noel Feely a really good jockey going to bring a horse over here for nothing? He's about a 25 to 1 shot last night when I looked at him. Is he now? He's actually 28 to 1 shot, Commander of 10. But as Johnny and Conor said, maybe not a race to be getting heavily involved in from a punting perspective. So that's the first one out of the way. Let's go to the next race then. This is the 3:05, the Bloodstock.com Full Circle Series final handicap hurdle. 2 miles, 3.5 furlongs, 25 runners. Brian Cooper, you were really good at these handicaps when you were a jockey, so you've got one picked out for us, even a handful.
Look, it's a race. I'd say a few horses have been probably mapped out for. It's very good prize money. My dad has a runner here called Dart. Been a little bit disappointed with him in Fairyhouse, and I just worry about the big fields. Is he a little bit more at an advantage in smaller fields? I thought he was still quite well handicapped, and he dropped a pound for Fairyhouse, but just a big field around here. I don't know, will he get things his own way? Horse I like is Gavin Cromwell's Laser Wolf. He won well the last race, 12 to 1. Gavin is very good at mapping horses out for these races, and I think he could be one to keep an eye out on.
Laser Wolf, who ran well here in December, Punchestown, didn't really get the run of the race, finished 4th behind Petit King.
He'll be doing his best work at the finish, I'd imagine.
Petit King is a non-runner here today in this one. This is the handicap hurdle, the first of them. This is at 3:05. Conor O'Dwyer, do you like anything in this one?
I like Morricone. His last 3 runs have been here. He's won 2 of them and only touched off in the other one. So clearly loves the place. He's 13 to 2, decent price. And he beat a horse of Gordon Elliott's Shannon Royal, which is a fair yardstick here the second last time. So I think he's a decent bet at 13 to 2.
Morricone with the conductor of Dara O'Keefe on the saddle going for a hat-trick.
It's all happening, JD. You're excelling yourself for today. The British trainers here have major
of them. Tom Lacey.
Great to see. Conor, I'm sure you would agree. It just makes the whole thing more interesting to have them owner.
Absolutely. It's what it's all about. To come over and compete, to bring their owners over, to see what it's all about. It makes the week. You don't want to be hearing our own type of thing. Yeah,
the social aspect of racing is so important. Conor was just talking to me about how you might get an owner by meeting them and talking to them. And just meeting people is important, and they might find you owners over here as well.
Absolutely. I found even when I had a few runners in England during the year, the amount of even people you met over there and little interest, or that's what it's all about. That's where I think we lost a lot of things during COVID. Nobody going racing. We didn't meet anybody. You lost horses. You didn't get them replaced, and I think that was the start of a lot of the smaller trainers' troubles.
You have a runner here on Friday, Conor?
I hope so. Battled out. Real nice horse, JP McManus's. He's in the listed novice handicap chase on Friday, so I'm praying for more rain.
Yeah. The more I think of it as well, JD, the death of British racing has been greatly exaggerated. I think if you're JP McManus or you're some of the big owners, there are really good trainers in Britain. The programme actually isn't. You'll avoid Willie Mullins most of the time, and you look at Montregard coming over here for Tom Lacey and Stan Shepherd today. JP probably wanted the horse to run in this race, and the challenge for punters here is to weigh up the British form against the Irish. So this is good for punters. It's good for bookmakers who themselves will be able to take bets on a load of horses. The lovely man is my selection, 33 to 1 for Colin Murphy. We're talking about to Conor about the days are hard. He used to call him with a train brave ink in those days. The lovely man by Master Craftsman. He can only improve in this better ground. William Hill paying 6 places.
33 to 1.
33 to 1. He was at 12.
It was 9 to 1 last night.
Yeah, 30.
What the hell?
Yeah, I must have tipped him.
I picked him out. Montregard is the favourite for this one. World of Dreams, Mark Honey, Billy Lee Swagger all being backed in this one. Paddy's Milestone was money for him last night, but a bit of a drifter today. He was not captured down Royal last time out, not getting much luck in running. The lovely man I had shortlisted as well, Flat Pedigree, has been knocking on the door. Sunjoy is handled by Ben Pauling, will appreciate the better ground after being pulled up last time out. He won over the distance at Huntington in January. So if you wanted an each way play, maybe Sunjoy at a massive price here for Ben Pauling. A little bit of money from him as well. He's about a 28 to 1 shot. So I'm going to go Sunjoy for a euro each way. You're going for the lovely man, Johnny, which you are. And then Conor Maracone. And then Laser Wolf for you, Brian Cooper. So that's the handicap hurdle out of the way. Let's get into the Champion Novice Hurdles, sponsored by KPMG at 3:40. 2 miles, half a furlong, 9 runners. Asian Master, Firefox, Mystical Power, Slade Steel. We also have lots of other horses in the race as well. But when we're looking at the horses to look at, I suppose, on the shortlist, Slade Steel won at Cheltenham, beat Mystical Power, who won at Aintree. Firefox has been running consistently. Asian Master, 4th at Cheltenham. Brian Cooper, what would you like to be on?
I think it all depends what shows up. Like I thought Slade Steel was very, very good in Cheltenham, but it's just Henry's horses sometimes don't back it up when they come back to Punchestown, and they haven't done for the last while. I know Mystical Power, he's been to Cheltenham and Aintree, but if you look, he ran in Galway and he had a big break from Galway to the Moscow Flyer. So technically he hasn't had as hard a season as it reads, and I think he's improving the whole time. Like to me, he seemed to improve a lot from Cheltenham to Aintree, and if he does that to Punchestown here again, he could be hard beat. He mightn't be as exposed as some of them. Look, if Slade Steel does show up, he could be hard beat, but I'm going to stick with the favourite, Mystical Power. He's been well supported, and just given the fact that he missed kind of October, November, December, it might stand to him here.
I totally agree with Brian there. He'd be my bet of the day. 7 to 4 is obviously a contracted price. Just it might drift out a bit close to the off. You know, the little bit of rain might get into Punter's mind, because the key to him here would be he'll be fine on the ground, but the faster it is, the more it'll bring his pace into play. He's by Galileo out of any power. I think he went 20 to 1 in running at Cheltenham, and he didn't get up the hill on the ground. Completely different test today.
Well, that was 2.5 miles effectively.
It was, and this is a sharper track.
Yeah.
And there's going to be a pace on. He's going to tip away. I completely agree with what Brian said. I wouldn't, as much as he went to Aintree, it wouldn't overly bother me. And Aidan O'Brien goes on about how tough Galileos are, but Galileo was one of the most extraordinary stallions in terms of how honest and tough. Nearly 99.99% of his horse were. And I thought when he beat Firefox at Aintree, and Firefox isn't out of this either, I thought he was very, very good. And it's a fantastic each way betting race again, Jenny, because if you don't like the top two, you're getting massive price about good horses.
Firefox, bit of money for him, 15 to 2 for Gordon Elliott. A bit of money for the other Elliott runner, King at Kingsfield at 33 to 1. So you got Mystical Power 7 to 4, Slade Steel at 2, Tully Hill, the man to Paul Townend, a 7 to 1 chance. I go for Mystical Power. I agree with Brian and Johnny. Do we have 4 people in agreement? Conor Dwyer.
You do.
Yes!
We might have 5 because David Mullins is arriving, so this is the big man. We've 4 in agreement. That's my nap of the day and others' naps today, so what can possibly go wrong?
Yes, absolutely. That's the KPMG Champion Novice Hurdles. So that's at 3:40. So we have David Mullins on the way as well, another brilliant jockey in the saddle, a former Aintree Grand National winner. So when we're talking about Willie Mullins, Conor, it's just been an unbelievable season for him. 100 winners now at Cheltenham, 9 winners at the festival this year, and then winning the UK Jumps Championship for the first time in 70 years. An Irish trainer's done that. The Aintree Grand National, the Scottish Grand National, the Gold Cup at Sandown last weekend. Nothing else to say, really. Just how does he do it?
Yeah, that's it. There is nothing else to say. As you said, every race, 2 championships, first time in 70. It's just amazing. Look, how he does it, nobody knows, I suppose, but he has an unbelievable team behind him. You know, from the bottom to the top, from travelling them to entering them. David Casey, Ruby down there, all the head lads, I don't know them, but, you know, he has an amazing team. His wife, Jockey. I don't know what he does differently, because I know there's a lot of other trainers like Gordon that spend as much money, but he just seems to always have them right for the right festivals and seems to get them. He never seems to hit a flat spot. They always seem to turn up. I don't know. I'd love to know what he does.
One thing for me, I don't know if Brian agrees with this or not. Willie had 17 runners left in the Ballymore the week before, right? if Willie has that amount of runners for a Grade 1, that's run one of the 3 Grade 1 novice hurdles at Cheltenham, Willie can basically plan on Friday what he thinks is in the best shape to win the race for him on a Sunday, and he has owners that are kind of willing to go along for the ride. So a lot of it is just numbers. Like he's a fantastic trainer, but there are a lot of other fantastic trainers who don't have the numbers he has. And as much as he is a genius, I think Willie will acknowledge that there are some exceptional trainers right up there with him. They just don't have the firepower that he has.
Now, he has ridden an Aintree Grand National winner, came from behind with Rule the World to finish in front at Aintree, biggest day of his life, 19 years of age. And he's come by helicopter today. David Mullins, you're very welcome to the show. Our William Hill Champion Chase Day preview here at Punchestown. David, how are you getting on? I was looking through the race card last night and I said, oh, David Mullins with a runner in the bumper, as an owner. And that's true. You've a runner today as an owner in the bumper. Look it up.
Yeah. I think he'll need to run, but it's a lot easier being an owner than a jockey or a trainer, as Conor and Brian will probably tell you as well.
Your first runner?
Yeah, first one in my colours anyway.
Nathaniel,
yeah.
what's the thought process? Jimmy Barco, and are you excited?
I rode my first winner for Jimmy here, actually, in Punchestown years ago. I rode 3 winners for him. A small outfit like Jimmy, and I was always friends with him. And this horse seemed to fit the bill, so we're trying to have a go at it.
This is the point. It's up to the owners where the horse is going, and like this is a brilliant thing for Jimmy Barker to have a 40 grand horse, was it?
41, yeah.
40, and by Nathaniel, lovely pedigree, and like this is what racing should be about. That's my point. Like it's up to the owners where the horses go.
So the colours, the name, how does that all get worked out?
He's the colours there anyway, I think, are they?
Yeah, I was late, as you can probably tell. There was a crash, and I was so late. I was actually driving the brains out of the Jeep, and the Jeep blew up. I knew about a couple of miles beforehand I just wasn't going to get there, so every light came on. It was like a Christmas tree. Hopefully Tiernan Power Roach doesn't have the same problem turning out the back today and look it up. So yeah, how did the colours come about? Kilkenny colours, they're actually not easy to get when you want the right set of colours, but this is as close as I could get to it, yellow and black anyway. I couldn't even get the amber.
And where did you get the name from? Look it up.
That's a long story, a lot of drink involved. And yeah.
It's a family show now.
We were out skiing, a friend of mine, he said look it up on a few things that were crazy. Nobody bothered looking it up, so we said we'd call it after him.
So Kilkenny, Kerry, Wexford, would you be following the GA lads now this summer?
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Brian is.
I'm staying quiet on the whole
Nothing
thing.
much to follow.
Connor's a Kildare man, so that's not great.
Yeah.
Well, half and half.
I thought you were Wexford, Conor.
A bit of Wexford there as well, isn't there?
Don't mention Antrim,
Wexford.
don't mention last
Are
week.
you Wexford? Fully Wexford?
Yeah, but yeah.
Yeah. So would you go to the All-Irelands? Would you gone to Kilkenny hurling, Kerry football, Wexford hurling?
I followed football a lot. I'd be good friends with a few of the players down there, and I think they still have a lot of work to do to maybe win an All-Ireland this year, but I think I can see them getting to the semi-final or final. I just think we lack maybe or the backs might struggle a little bit, but not the Cliffords. I actually played the Pro-Am with David Clifford. You can see why he's such a good athlete. Like, he's just confidence he has is unbelievable.
And good on the range and on the course. A good game.
Yeah, they're big into racing, actually.
We need to get them.
Yeah,
to sell a bit more.
Yeah,
body,
they have a horse with us at home, and Paddy owns a couple. He's involved with a few horses as well. So Paddy's a massive follower. He's I did a Cheltenham preview with him down in Kerry as well. He knows his stuff now. He's a wizard.
I seen Paddy Clifford in Clonmel one day in thunder and rain. I was surprised racing even went ahead. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. I actually didn't think it was him for a minute, but he must have a fair aptitude for racing if he goes to them sort of days.
It's very sharp.
Yeah, it's amazing, isn't it, when you're talking about they'll be all sharing a dressing room together and they'll be all going out as one. And I know you're all friends before and after racing, but during racing you're competitors. It's a very unique sport in that regard.
Yeah, well, like I suppose it's very competitive. I wouldn't say you'd be friends every time you come back into the weighing room. There would be the odd row here and there, and I was involved in a few myself. But like, everyone has respect for each other, and I think that's the most important thing. You know, it's a high risk sport, and when you go out on the track, you know, no one's out to do either, but you're trying to be as competitive as you can.
Yeah, I was racing on Friday at Downpatrick, and it was funny. Like, Kieran Buckley came in for the ride on a couple of horses that Keith Donoghue was riding, and Keith went out of his way to help him to get a winner on those horses, even though he was in A&E, and Kieran straight away afterwards was giving lots of praise to Keith. And it's nice to see people looking after each other as well, because you know, you can hold things to yourself. I'm going to ride this horse, he's my horse, but he wasn't like that at all.
Do you miss it? What do you miss? What do you not miss?
I don't miss going out in 25 runners in a handicap hurdle today, anyway, that's for sure. I suppose I missed the crack in the weighing room, that buzz. And I suppose I find it hard to get a buzz like winning a big race. That thrill hasn't come to me yet. I'm still trying to find that. So, but I think I'll do very well. Like I was to find that. I was very lucky to win some big races. But I think I miss going into the weighing room and having a crack with the lads and that. But certainly I don't miss the riding part of it and getting hurt.
How does the training in the winner compare?
Trainer winner is I was just about to say, like when Brian said, he hadn't found the high since riding. I have in training. It is totally different, but it is nearly better because you've so much more to do with the horse. It's your responsibility. You know, it's all about you getting the horse there in good shape and everything. It's fantastic. It is a different buzz. So I've gotten that, but I missed the riding for going to the turf club on a Friday, collecting my check. And heading home and getting paid, exactly. That's what I miss the most.
What do you miss, David?
Well, I missed the big days, obviously. Punchestown, all the success here. I was very lucky. It was always good to me, so I always loved coming to Punchestown. Cheltenham, Aintree, as bad as Cheltenham was to me, I still miss going for them big days. But there's racing next Sunday in Downroyal and Monday, I think, in Ballinrobe. Like, I just always thought that was a very unfair way to end the season for jockeys and stable staff, trainers. I suppose we're in the entertainment business and that's what we're paid to do, but the fact Paul Town is going to have a massive fight here with Jack Kennedy this week to try and get the champion jockey, and he's going to be repaid with having to go to Downroyal.
I think they've changed that. It's less than 10 with less than 15 winners. I think we got that changed 2 years ago.
I actually think it's Monday and Tuesday. Downroyal is
Monday and Tuesday.
Yeah, I think they've changed it for for condition riders and guys who haven't ridden more than 10 or 15 winners to give the likes of Paul them a break. But I still think there should be a week off after the biggest week of the year at the end of the season. What harm with a week? You can fill it in later on in the year.
Well, the flat season's getting going. Why can't they just put flat racing on? It just always left a bad taste in my mouth, and it's just not a.
You've no flat racing this week either, so I'm sure the flat lads would love to have a full week of racing.
Exactly that. I could never understand it and get my head around it. I don't know. As I said, we're in the entertainment business, and maybe they look at us that way. We're monkeys and do what they say.
Banbridge, Captain Gillis, Gentleman to Me, St. Sam, Dino Blue, Field Door, Ashtree Meadow, Dysart, Dynamo, Mascata, all the runners, David, that we just gone through for the William Hill Champion Chase. What do you like in the race yourself?
Gentleman to Me.
Okay.
I think he's a horse that takes a lot of runs. I know we've got a bit of rain here lately, but if the ground hasn't gone too soft, I think he's possibly the best horse in the race. He's shown it in Leopardstown last year, in the Dublin Racing Festival. I always thought he was a spring horse. He's won here at this festival, and he's also won at Aintree. I think this is the time of year he comes into his own. He's very free at home, so I wonder, are they able to get the work into him that they need to without blowing his head, and that's why he takes so many runs to get fit. I think at 11-2 or 5-1 he is maybe now. I think he's a great bet, and he'd be my nap of the day anyway.
Okay, Gentleman to Me for David Mullins in the William Hill Champion Chase. How are they all on cloud nine? Close Sutton, Uncle Willie and everybody? Are they more exuberant and celebrating more than they normally would, given what's happened the last week?
I think so. You can see Willie there in his interviews. He's not that he's nearly shocked about it, but he's very thankful for it, is what I'm getting to see out of him anyway. I think Ruby kind of summed it up on Saturday, everything about him, saying it shouldn't be done, and that racing will probably try and do something and to modify it to counteract Willie Mullins and these bigger trainers. They have done with the Red Mill series that's on tomorrow, a cap on a price of the horse at the sales that'll probably have to be looked into, maybe for trainers with less than 15 winners or something like that as well. I'm not sure, but I'd imagine something like that is going to have to come into play. But for the worrying side of it for other trainers is it doesn't look like he's stopping or slowing down in the grade ones.
It's entirely down to the owners, though. The owners need to look at this and say, like, racing would be better if we spread our horse around. Like.
Absolutely, and as well as that, it's not Willie Mullins' fault. Willie Mullins is doing absolutely nothing wrong. He's just getting obviously the best horses, but he has the owners to buy them. But a lot of people do as well. But as Johnny said, it is down to the owners to say, well, look, this man can train just as well as that man. We'll give him a chance. It's about spreading them around. And as David said, it is sad but it is come to the stage that IHRI are putting on these races for trainers with less than 10 winners or 15 winners, and they are going to be more prevalent this year, but it's a pity it's gone that way.
You'll see JP McManus will have horses in training with yards that are struggling badly for years. And what it means for Jimmy Mangan today, Jimmy Mangan is well able to train his horse today. So Lance Tower is no worse for being at Jimmy Mangan. And JP McManus has now a relationship with another yard. And for me, if you have the money, there's a lot to be said for racing and for smaller yards and for staff to spread the horse around, and you won't be any worse for it.
Brewing Up a Storm 1 at Ferry House, and that's what's going on in the background at the moment. We've got the Killashee Hotel Handicap Hurdle, 2.5 miles, the 4:15, 25 runners. Once again, this is a very difficult race to work out, Brian Cooper. Have you got...
Daddy long legs, he only ran last week. I don't fancy him. I don't think he jumps well enough. He jumps very careful. Spends a lot of time up in the air. So for me, he's too short. I know he's potentially well handicapped compared to his English mark that he won off the other day. But a horse I like that I think could run a big race is Norset for Joseph O'Brien. A nice run in Leopardstown there a while back, and I'd say the bit of drier ground here won't do him any harm. He's a high-class horse in the flat, and 14 to 1. I thought Joseph's horses are flying at the minute, and he's just one that caught my eye. He could be a step ahead of the handicapper maybe.
Daddy Longlegs is the favourite, 7 to 2 with William Hill, Toto 2 second, and Rathgall Boy. So Scottish Brentford hope a bit of money for that coming over from England. And Nusrat, get a bit of a price on him. What do you like, Johnny?
Yeah, Brentford Hope I think was favoured for the Epsom Derby one time, and as much as he didn't work out that way, he's still a very good horse, rate 143, and has plenty of class coming over here. Bialystok won this race last year.
Too much weight though now, does he?
Just very, very tricky. Like Paul couldn't do any more than the last year, and he still couldn't quite win. I'm not mad at him as a horse in general, but Daddy Longlegs, just for me, he's rated 135. Like 3 runs back, he was 9 to 4 favourite in a Grade 1 at Leopardstown on ground he couldn't walk on. And if that market were correct, he's better than 135, and the ground is right for him. So I'm interested to hear what Brian is saying about the jumping, but I think he's the one with the bit in hand. Opposing
views here from Johnny and Brian on Daddy Longlegs. What about you, David?
Yeah, I wouldn't. Daddy Longlegs went off 9 to 4 in the Grade 1. I thought it was complete hype from Paul Townend when he won his maiden hurdle in Thurles. I didn't think it was impressive at all. Paul Townend thought it was, and everyone kind of jumped on that and sent him off 9 to 4 for a Grade 1. I don't think he's done anything to suggest that he's going to win off 135. I'm going against all Willie Mullins' horses in this, which is probably a stupid call. I'd probably be proven wrong. I thought Toto 2 for Gavin Cromwell and Basil Holly, and I thought he was very impressive the last day when he missed the second last in Nace, and he won on the bridle just from getting a slap down the shoulder and a shake up from Keith Donoghue. I think there's plenty more left in this lad.
Toto 2 for Gavin Cromwell. Conor Dwyer, what you like in this one?
Yeah, very hard. Rathgall Boy won in Foss last week with Patrick, and he didn't jump brilliant, but he just looked like a true run race that suited him. You know, he won very, very well. I thought he had a good shout. Maybe the big field mightn't suit, but I thought he was definitely the one I'd be on. But I think Paul Nolan's horse has a great
Conyers
chance.
Hill.
Conyers Hill. He's very...
Bit of money for him last night as well.
Yeah, he's well seasoned. He travels well. Okay, he finds it hard to win, but off a big price, I think he's a great each way bet.
Kings Hill is an interesting outsider in a handicap company on this ground. He ran well at Leopardstown at Christmas. He was 9th in the Supreme Novices Hurdle. Another one each way is Smooth Tom. Very interesting off 10 stone 8. The plan is to go a hurdle with him.
Hill is a fascinating runner, Gilly. Sorry, I was in Ballinrobe. He just touched off, and he did all bar win.
Who?
Kings Hill.
Kings Hill, yeah. So Smooth Tom and Kings Hill are my two, I would say, each way against the top ones there. The Defender Bumper, which David Mullins has look it up in. This is the 450, 2 miles, half a furlong, 25 runners again. Like, is this all about Brian Cooper, King Rasco Gray, £250,000 purchase with a flat pedigree, the choice of Patrick Mullins?
I don't think he knows what price he is now anyway. No, look, we've seen it even in the race in Fairy House, like the sale topper Gordon Elliott, Jigginstown, he ran in that race and he more or less pulled up. So it's all what he's doing. Like, obviously Willie would have trained him for this race. He's got a big price tag, so he'll want to be living up to that. He was a gorgeous horse at the sales. I remember seeing him there. He was really nice. But it's just interesting. There's a bit of money for Emmett Mullins's. For John Gleeson takes a ride, claiming £5 off him.
This is Garahan, yeah?
Garahan, yeah. Like, it's very hard to get a gauge in it, but I'm just kind of going Emmett. You know, Emmett doesn't run horses in bumpers unless they think they're going to run a big race. And he's obviously doing the right things at home, and Michael Mee loves a good winner in Punchestown, so I'm going to take a chance with him.
Garahan is 6-1. We do need to let you know, folks, that Runcock was a reserve but is in now for Willie Mullins in the Simon Munier and Isaac Swade green colours, and he's now second favourite at 5-1 with William Hill, so you can't discount Runcock in this.
Yeah, he must have been some looker, Brian. Like he was 18 grand couple of years beforehand. So what was he? 18 grand
yearling.
France.
Yeah, the Costellos had him. They bought him as a yearling.
And the sire of Vauban, I think Galloway is the sire of Vauban, but he must, like, 250 grand is a hell of a price to be paying.
Yeah, look, he was very good looking at the sales, and I suppose Willie loved the sire Galloway. I think Paul Nichols might have underbid him that day, I think, didn't he?
There was only 3 Gallyways in the sale, and Willie bought all of them. And I think this horse was the third one, so
wasn't leaving him behind.
Wasn't leaving him behind, and I'd say the Costellos might have copped onto that as well. So,
they're very hard to get now as well, Galloway.
Yeah, Galloway. Yeah, you had Seelyway won the Champion Stakes as well, Vauban too. So you couldn't blame them for wanting a sire like that, and he did have the physical as well. He was a fine horse.
Have you any idea in your head of if your horse is travelling coming in, what that buzz will be like?
Well, if he gets, I don't think he's fit enough to get there, but I also bought Garahan for Emmett, and he's since sold him on to Michael Mee, so I'd be hoping he runs well as well. It's a pity the purchaser doesn't get the Land Rover anymore. I could do with one after today anyway.
Is that Jeep still stuck in the hard shoulder somewhere, is it?
It's stuck on the side of the motorway there, yeah. I won't say whereabouts in case there's a good set of golf clubs robbed out of the back.
After the horse wins, you'll have him in the sale on Thursday anyway. You'll be able to get a new Jeep and golf clubs.
Yeah.
So Garahan, with these kind of races, these bumpers, is it a lot of it is it whispers? Is we hear that the horse is working well, and does that influence the price then?
Yeah, sure. Like, you've no form to go on, as you say. It's not a betting race really. Your Willies are favourite because they're Willies and the price of them. But to be backing in now is and as you said, it's all about what you hear. You'll walking out later on, somebody will whisper this or that. But again, the top horse, Active Innocence, Garota Loughlin's horse, is an absolute gorgeous horse. I was down there last week trying to buy a different horse, but he's really bullish about him, and he's a fabulous looking horse.
Who's he by, Conor?
He's by a horse called My Dream Boat. I think he'd only a couple of progenies and he died. So again, you've nothing to work off, but he's a fabulous looking horse, and Grode is not. He's no back at the clock now.
The name of that one again is
Active Innocence #1.
So Barry O'Neill rides him.
Yeah, if you come racing as well, you will. If to be in the parade ring and to see these horses, not only what they look like, but the way they walk and how they're taken, because it's quite a busy day today. Like, that's the beauty of coming racing. You will see things you won't see on the TV, and a lot of this will be on looks, like who's the nice looking horse and what price is he or she.
Also, you're getting all the info. Garahan, Active Innocence. You get all the info from our all-star panel here. Conor O'Dwyer, David Mullins, and Brian Cooper ahead of William Hill Champion Chase Day. Plenty to look forward to for the rest of the show. We're here live from the Mezz Bar for the William Hill Champion Chase Day, Punchestown, with thanks to William Hill. So that is the Defender bumper. So your selection in this, did we get selections? Like Hefe is an €80,000 purchase and a half brother to Layler, which Jodie Townend rides. And Dino Rock is a half sister to Reed and Tommy Wrong. And the Henry de Barmad Yard is in form as well. So I'm going to go with Dino Rock each way. What are you going to go with?
I'm with the favourite, but I'm actually going to look at David's horse to see how he gets on, because I think it's your first runner. It's great crack to see, and that's a lot of excitement for a small yard as well. And the favourite on pedigree and obviously the price for me, JD, but it's a no bet race.
Active Innocence, is that your pick?
Yeah, as I said, just just for a little each way, something.
66-1.
Yeah,
there you go. That'll pay for the week.
Exactly, absolutely.
Brian?
Garahan for Emmett Mullins. I think the market is solid from there now, and he's obviously sold him to Michael Mee as well, so he's doing the right thing at home.
And Garahan is, if your one doesn't win, your own one.
Yeah, well, I'd be hoping that, but no, I think Runcock, the word I'm hearing about him, he was the third reserve. He just got in this morning. Fern O'Brien rides, and Fergal O'Brien's daughter. They're saying this is a great spare to pick up, so hopefully he runs a good race.
Interesting information, interesting stuff there. We've gone through the Champion Chase. Let's go to the 6 o'clock. This is the 3 mile, 1 furlong novice chase. So this is a really interesting race. The Dooley Insurance Group Champion Novice Chase, 3 miles, 1 furlong, 8 runners: Monty Star, Sandra Clegane, Spillans Tower, Embassy Garden, Sharjah, 3-card Bragg. Bit of money for Sandra Clegane this morning into 10-1. And we also have Monty Starr's favourite Drifting, Spillans Tower Drifting as well. Money for Sharjah, who won last week. American Mike, money for that horse. He'd be very in and out. So, Brian Cooper, what would you like to be riding in this one?
I like Monty Star. I think he's improving the whole year out. Each run he's got better. He was unlucky. He just ran into a very good horse in Cheltenham. He just reminds me a little similar to Milanendo. Same type of profile. It all depends if Henry's horses obviously show up to Punchestown in good form, and if he does, I think he's the one they all have to beat.
He's a half brother to Monolith, Monty Star. He's only had 7 runs under rules. He jumps well. He's won at the track. He's won over the distance. He ran well at Cheltenham to be second. I think, like, he's drifting in the market. I think he could become really good value, Monty Star. David Mullins.
Yeah, it's going to be it's really an interesting race. I think it's going to be very competitive from the turn in this year. Without Fact the File running here, it just brings them all closer together. Monty Star, his form is probably the best without Fact the File. Sandor Clegane probably needs to improve, but I can't see him being a Grade 1 horse. I can see him being more of a Grand National type of horse.
Handicapper, yeah.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't say a handicapper, but
No.
yeah, a Grand National is a handicap, I suppose. He's going to be a high-end one next year. I can see him doing that. He does need to improve to be a Grade 1 horse. Spillans Tower, as Johnny was saying, it would be brilliant for Jimmy Mangan to have another Grade 1 winner.
Would he stay?
I think he will, yeah.
Yep.
He looks like he wanted every yard of 2.5 mile the last day. So for me, I wouldn't let that put me off. But for Monty Star, I think the form is going to be the main thing here. He is closest to Fact the File. The only thing is Henry de Bromhead's horses for me in Punchestown. They got going very early in the season. I'd be really interested to see what way Slade Steele runs in the 2 mile novice before I'd have any bet on Monty Star. I think he should be winning as well, and that'll put a fair marker on what way the yard is in form.
Okay, Conor.
Yeah, I'm a Spillans Tower fan. 2 miles up to 2.5. Even at 2.5, he looked like he wanted further again. He's won here before. The ground is probably the only, and I'd say that's probably why he's drifted in the bed in a bit. But look, with that show rain early on, it'll be perfect. And 3 miles, he'll be able to drop in a little bit, let the others at it, and come late. I'd say he's my pick.
Hallelujah! It'll stop raining.
It's quite windy, but I thought we were going to get blown away there. But Monty's, Spillans Tower, just Conor's selection there. I think if Walk in the Park gets horses that stay, because they've so much class, a lot of them. If he stays, you're thinking of, I know the way you're thinking, like, if you stay well enough and you're by Walk in the Park, it's a potent combination.
It is, and like that, a horse that's come up from 2 miles to 2.5 to 3, he'll find things so much easier over 3. He'll travel so well. He won't be using half the energy he'd be using over a shorter trip because he's travelling so well within himself.
The ground difference as well will make it a lot easier.
It will, of course. Yeah, exactly. If it was a slog, I know he probably wants it a bit softer, but at the same time, then it might turn into too much of a slog for him. But I think with the ground, the trip, I think Mark will be very confident on him, just give him his chance early on, and yeah, he's my nap of the day.
Would you worry that this is going to be his 7th start of the season? That's the only thing, that's my only worry.
He's progressing, I suppose. Yeah, it's fair enough. The one thing I'd say about him, though, is he's drifted so much in the betting. He's a very backable.
But it wasn't his Gold Cup Ferry House to a degree, was it?
It was, but he wouldn't be running. Like, Jimmy Mangan can't run this horse today unless they're all happy with him.
Yeah.
JP's not going to impose it on him, so if they've any worries, they're not going to run him, and that'd be a tip in itself for me, in my view, anyway.
What about Embassy Garden, Sharjah?
I suppose Embassy Garden was well bet in Cheltenham. I think he could be more of a handicapper maybe for next year as well. You know.
He doesn't jump well enough, I don't think. Embassy Gardens, he didn't jump well enough in Cheltenham. He got his own way in Nace over 3 mile, and I don't think he bet a very good field. Or Sandor Clegane mightn't have been in form at the time, but to me, he has no chance against these.
Okay, so Johnny, your selection in the 3 mile.
I'm with Spillans Tower.
Spillans Tower.
Tower, yep.
Monty Star.
Monty Star.
Monty Star
3-2. Sorry, lads. There's a consolation prize after the end of the show. The last bumper we have is the second bumper of the day. This is the Hare flat race, 2 miles, half a furlong, 19 runners. Ashaho was a non-runner, Pat Doyle's horse. So unknown entity, 6-4 with William Hill. Colcannon, money for him as well, 11-2. Bit of money for Broderick, Pearl of Grange for Jessica Harrington. The rest of them, a lot of drifters. Laro's Legend, a bit of money for your brother Charlie at 50-1. Has he got a squeak?
Yeah, Pat Fahey's horses have been running well. He thinks it has a bit of a chance, but it's a bit of a lottery again. It's another 4-year-old bumper. It's very hard to get a gauge on these horses. I know Patrick's horse is probably a good horse. I seen him being second in a point in Bell Harbour. At the start of the season, he jumped a bit left, and he should have won. He was finished second to a highly thought of horse of JP's and Derek O'Connor's. I'd say he cost a lot of money, this horse. He's a beautiful stamp. I went down to see him the next day. I can't really see him being beaten.
Okay.
I like that. And he's by Kingston Hill, who was Master Craftsman, had His big days was Master Craftsman Kingston Hill is by a Master Craftsman, would have been one of his best sires, one of his best sons rather, and it's a nice flat pedigree for this sort of ground as well. But as David was saying, if he should have won a point to point, he's plenty of stamina as well, and he's the family of appreciated.
Yeah. What do you like in this one, Brian?
Look, I did like Willie's. I thought he was unlucky today in his point to point, and obviously he's doing the right things at home. I thought Tony Martin's horse put a pound in the jar, might run well. It was second to horse my dad's in a listed bumper in Limerick. First time out, and there was a lot of money from Derek O'Connor rode him. He dropped him in, and he ran well. Like my dad's horse, Shuttle Diplomacy, he runs in the champion bumper
How
tomorrow.
do you go, do you think?
I think he'll run well once the ground is like it's a big ass for 4-year-olds, but I don't think I've never rode a horse to work like this in my entire life. Like,
Really, yeah.
No way into this horse. I genuinely think he could be just a complete freak, and that's
Who's
why
this now?
This is Shuttle Diplomacy, his dad's horse running in the champion bump.
That's Wednesday. Yeah. He's
What's the plan for him
he's
then?
8-1.
I know you were talking him up that he was working well. I didn't hear you talk like that though.
Yeah, no, funny. I put a video up on Twitter of him today. I wrote him worked, or Dad put a video up from Twitter, and everyone started ringing me, asking me was I coming back riding or something. but I think he's exceptionally good. Look, 4-year-olds don't have a great record in the race, but they have won it. Hidden Universe has won it, and this isn't your typical 4-year-old. He's a big stamp for horse, and I just think he could run a big race.
I'm labouring the point here, but I was at Limerick that day. Tom Cooper was honestly, he was so excited after the race to have a horse like this. And
he doesn't crack a smile too often.
He doesn't. He doesn't. He's a lot like Brian, actually. He actually is a lot like Brian. But I'm telling you, like, this means the world to and like it's better for racing for Tom Cooper to have a horse like that. I'm telling you, and it's very exciting.
So total enjoyment. Would he like talk about the two of them and compare them at home, maybe? Or?
She was very, very good. I didn't really ride her. I was only 9 or 10
Yes.
and she was good. But she was a freak. She was by Flemingford. She had so much natural ability. Unfortunately, she got killed out in the paddock. But she was a very good mare. But this horse, I was pointing last Sunday, and I was looking at all the 4-year-olds, that have ran, and they're very narrow. They're not having a lot of condition. And I went home the next day and looked at this lad, and he's like a 6-year-old. He's a bull, solid horse, and look, it's a big ask, but I think he will run a big race. So that's why I fancy Tony Martins in this. I think he could run a big race.
Put a pound in the jar, 9-1 with William Hill. So that's your selection. You're going with unknown entity, David. Conor.
Yeah, listen, it's not a betting race. I think if you're ahead of the bookies, keep your money, and if you're behind, don't try and get it back. But look, again, you have to follow Willie in these sort of races.
40 races this week, folks. You don't want to be losing your shirt after the first day, especially in this weather. Johnny, do you have one?
Tentative unknown entity.
Okay, Miss Corby for Mass Morris is an interesting runner here. I think part owned by Timmy Hyde and Paul Shanahan. So always
lovely pedigree.
Yeah, I'm always interested in Mass Morris horses in these kind of races. So 28-1 on Miss Corby might be worth €1 each way. But I was looking through them here. This is the last race. So we're looking at naps of the day. David Mullins, is it Gentleman to Me or is it something else?
Gentleman to Me, yeah.
Yeah. And
Monty Star.
Spillane
Tower.
Mystical Power.
And I'm going to nap Monty Star. Your best chance of the week, is it the one you've just mentioned there, Shuttle Diplomacy?
Look, I can't say he'll win, but I'm more looking forward to a good runner. He's owned by a great owner, my dad's as well, and for him to have a runner in a Grade 1 bumper is exceptional, and if he could win, it'd be great.
And maybe the horse you think might have a really good chance this week? Are you looking too far ahead?
Look, I'm looking forward to see Stateman again. I love the horse. I think he's an incredible. He doesn't get the credit he deserves sometimes. But he's won so many Grade 1s now, and I think he'll be. I'm looking forward to seeing him on Friday.
David, you have another entry later in the week, have you?
Yeah. Filly by Blue Brazil with Jimmy Barco as well. So she pulled up on the point. She didn't jump well enough. I don't think she was quite right that day. But anyway, so I think we're going to run. That's the plan at the minute. We'll see what happens today first.
And would you be able to pick out a horse for us that might have an each-way chance during the week?
Yeah, I'd need to see declarations to tell you whether she had an each-way chance or not. But she's fit and ready, I think. So, if she runs, have a few quid each way on her, I suppose.
And Conor, your own horse, obviously, you'll hope will run well.
Yeah, hopefully he should do. He's a nice weight in the race, the triple suit. The softer it got, the better. But this sort of ground will be fine for him. As I say, he's in great nick. So yeah, really looking forward to that now.
You're very keen on fast or slow. Are you not worried about this rain at all?
No. I don't know what the lads think, but I'd be very, very wary of Galloping Deschamps after the season he's had. I thought he did a really hard race at Cheltenham, and he was beaten here last year. I'd be dead keen to take him on, and I'm not saying it'll be necessarily fast or slow, but I'd be surprised if Galopin Des Champs, if he can produce it again, I think he's utterly extraordinary, because he's had that was a hard race, and he's been to the war so many times this season.
Yeah, I think the way Ruby was talking him up on Racing TV yesterday in Naas, I think he is probably in as good a form as he can be. So this is
Tactically, it'll be a very good race. It'll be interesting to see. Like, I'd imagine
I don't
JJ
think
followed
so
him.
Not anymore.
AJ will follow him.
Yeah,
Have to.
like, Paul buck out and let him roll away again, I think, will
He
he?
won't get caught for toe again this year, or like the John Durkin. No, he'll have to go a gallop. So yeah.
Corrick Rambler coming over is brilliant for the race. Well, I know we don't have Shishkin. It was really sad. The Racing TV did a lovely tribute to him, I thought, yesterday. It was really nice, and people in Ireland can think we're a bit soppy about horses in England at times, or English people are, but like actually Shishkin had a big fan club and he was a bit of a character, and Racing TV did a lovely job. It would have been great to see him over, but if Nicky does have a winner this week, I think it'll definitely be celebrated by the Irish
Maybe
people here.
Sergino as well. War of attrition, you rode the Gold Cup winner. How do you assess Galopin Des Champs fast or slow in this race tomorrow?
Well, I think, as the lad said, I think if Galopin Des Champs turns up in his best form, he's the best horse in the race. As Johnny said, he's had a hard season. He's not guaranteed to turn up that way. And Martin is very bullish about fast or slow. And look, he has beaten him much as well. I know there's been excuses, but that's what racing's about. You turn up in your best form and you take your chance. And again, as a betting race, it's very hard, but it's going to be a hell of a race.
You got Bells Hill to win this one a few years ago.
Yeah, probably one of my favourite weeks here was when Willie was trying to beat Gordon Elliott for the title at the time. We were 700 or 800 grand behind. An album photo in Paul Town, and they had their mishap when they ran out of the last the day before. Gordon ended up having the first and second when it looked like he wasn't going to have anything in the first three, and to come out on Bells Hill the day after.
You won on Faugheen as well, didn't you?
Faugheen the day after that again, yeah. So, and Paul came out and rode 3 or 4 winners the next day after that happened to him. So that was that's probably one of my favourite weeks in racing.
Would it be a tense now week for Jack and for Paul?
I can imagine so, yeah. Paul's left himself a lot of work to do, but he rode 11 winners here last year. Gordon Elliott's horses are they're probably in a bit better form than they usually have been coming here. So I think
Jack.
Paul's probably going to need to ride 9 or 10 winners to beat him.
Jack is riding a couple
Jack
of
had a
outside
tough
horses
ball as well at Punchestown, like, and he had 7 rides 2 days afterwards in Downpatrick, so he's putting everything in, and he's had such an unbelievable season in terms of not being injured.
I think he deserves it, if anything else, through all the injuries he's had, and then like he's gone at it from the start, and he's riding a lot of outside horses there. I see he rides Dancing Jeremy, I think, tomorrow as well, so he's picking up spares as well.
Humble people as well, like they're never showy or praising themselves, and like it's fantastic for racing, I think, because Jack certainly nobody will begrudge him at this stage either.
Absolutely not. And for Jack to get this close, you'd love to see him win it, really, wouldn't you?
I've been to Paul Town in camp, obviously.
Well,
I think a draw would be the only result that anyone wants to see.
Yeah. But as you said, like, I think it's Paul 7
behind, yeah.
Or behind. So, as you said, Jack is surely going to ride 1, maybe 2. So Paul is going to have one hell of a week.
Chioppo is massive. Like, he absolutely has to win, I think, for Jack. But it was apt to say that Gordon Elliott did mention Danny Gilligan is going to be the top conditional, and a lot of people haven't really spoken about that. I think
great ride, better days ahead there.
He's outstanding. I really think great, from a great racing family in Galway, and he's an outstanding kid. I think the world is his oyster as well.
So, are you going to be here for the week?
Here for the week, yep. Why not?
How's your constitution? How's your constitution, Hill?
The lads will tell you it's not too bad.
How's your constitution? Are you here for the week?
I'm here for the week, yeah. I only live 10 minutes over the road, so I suppose I'd be bad if I was...
You don't need any jeeps to get in here, no?
I brought a jeep over, yeah, but I could be here for the week now, I'd say.
You're here for the week?
I didn't plan on it, but when you see the cards and you see the crowds coming in there today, it's only 45 minutes up the road. It's a real shame if you're not here, yeah.
Okay, and you're here for the week?
I'm here for the first 3 days anyway. I was here last week. Place looks great. Punchestown are always trying to improve, and it's a fantastic meeting.
David Mullins, Brian Cooper, Conor Dwyer, legend of the saddle, thank you so much. And Johnny Ward, the other half of the racing pod, thank you so much for being here at our William Hill Champion Chase Day preview. Folks out there, you're going to have a bet, do it responsibly, but enjoy the great week we have here at Punchestown, and we'll chat soon.